The December air in Minneapolis was biting cold, but 13-year-old Mason Taylor barely noticed. With his jacket zipped to his chin and his scarf pulled up tight, he clutched a small envelope against his chest as he stood outside the brightly lit department store. Inside the envelope was $24.37, a mix of coins and crumpled bills Mason had painstakingly saved over the last 3 months by shoveling snow, skipping after-school snacks, and collecting stray quarters wherever he could find them. Tonight, Mason was on a mission. His mother, Anna Taylor, had been the steady heartbeat of their small family ever since Mason's dad passed away 3 years ago. Despite juggling 2 jobs, one as a receptionist at a dental office during the day and another cleaning offices at night, Anna never let the weight of her struggles dim the joy she shared with Mason. Even though money was tight, Mason always noticed how Anna loved to stop by the jewelry store window during their rare walks downtown. Her eyes would linger on a small silver bracelet adorned with tiny star charms. Maybe one day, she would say with a wistful smile, brushing it off as though it were nothing. But Mason knew it wasn't nothing. This year, he decided he would be the one to make that one day happen. A shattered hope. Inside the store, Mason's breath fogged his glasses as he nervously approached the jewelry counter. The bracelet was still there, gleaming under the fluorescent lights, just as perfect as he remembered. "Can I see this one, please?" Mason asked, his voice trembling as he pointed to the bracelet. The jeweler, a kind-looking woman in her 50s, smiled warmly and placed it on the counter for him. "This is a popular piece," she said. "It's $29.99. Mason felt his stomach drop. He had checked the price weeks ago, and it had been $25 then. "I only have $24.37, Mason whispered, the defeat in his voice unmistakable. "Is there any way?" The woman gave him a sympathetic look but shook her head gently. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. I wish I could, but I can't change the price." With his heart sinking, Mason carefully handed the bracelet back and turned to leave. He couldn't bring himself to look at it again. The weight of his failure settled heavily on his small shoulders. The stranger with the kind smile. "Hey, kid," a deep, gentle voice called out. Mason turned to see a man with a scruffy beard and a worn leather jacket standing nearby, holding a shopping bag. His sharp eyes sparkled with warmth, and Mason recognized him instantly. Keanu Reeves. Mason froze. He had seen Keanu's movies 100 times. But what was he doing here, in the middle of Minneapolis, in a modest department store? "You all right there?" Keanu asked, crouching slightly so he was at Mason's eye level. Mason swallowed hard, his nerves making it difficult to speak. I wanted to buy my mom a gift. But I don't have enough money." Keanu glanced at the bracelet on the counter and then at the small envelope in Mason's hands. His face softened. "That's for your mom." Mason nodded. "She likes stars. She works so hard. I just wanted to make her smile." Keanu's lips curved into a thoughtful smile. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet, extracting 2 crisp 20s. "How about this," he said, sliding the bills toward Mason. "You get your mom that bracelet, and you keep your savings for another gift." Mason's jaw dropped. "Really? But, why?" Keanu winked. "Because sometimes, the universe likes to help out when you least expect it. Now go on. That bracelet won't wait forever." Mason hesitated for only a moment before he picked up the money with trembling hands. He turned to the jeweler, who was now beaming at the sight of the exchange. "I'd like to buy the bracelet, please," Mason said proudly. A new kind of Christmas. After paying for the bracelet, Mason turned to thank Keanu, but the actor held up a hand. "You don't need to thank me," he said. "Just promise me one thing." "What's that?" Mason asked, clutching the gift-wrapped bracelet tightly. "Never underestimate how much your kindness can mean to someone else. And someday, when you can, pay it forward." Mason nodded, his eyes glistening with gratitude. As Mason left the store, he felt a warmth in his chest that had nothing to do with the winter jacket wrapped around him. Keanu Reeves had made his Christmas unforgettable. But unbeknownst to Mason, Keanu wasn't quite finished with his act of kindness. Back inside the store, Keanu leaned on the counter and spoke quietly to the jeweler, his expression thoughtful. "That kid's got a big heart," he said. "But I think his mom could use a little extra Christmas magic this year." Mason couldn't wait for Christmas morning. The bracelet sat hidden in a small box beneath his bed, wrapped in silver paper he had painstakingly folded and taped. His excitement was infectious, and though Anna noticed her son's unusually cheerful mood, she didn't press him about it. She was simply happy to see him smile. Christmas Eve arrived with a quiet snowfall that blanketed their modest neighborhood. Anna came home late, her arms laden with grocery bags, her breath visible in the freezing air. Despite her exhaustion, she managed to make their tiny living room cozy with an old string of lights and a small plastic tree they had used for years. She smiled as she watched Mason set out cookies for Santa, knowing he was long past believing but still keeping the tradition alive for her sake. A knock on the door. As the clock approached midnight, Anna and Mason were startled by a knock at their apartment door. Anna frowned. She wasn't expecting anyone, especially at this hour. She wiped her hands on her apron and moved cautiously to the door. "Who could that be?" she muttered. When she opened the door, she froze. Standing in the dimly lit hallway was Keanu Reeves, holding a large bouquet of white lilies and a wrapped box under his arm. His signature kind smile spread across his face. "Hi," he said softly. "You must be Anna." Anna blinked, her brain struggling to process the sight of a Hollywood star standing on her doorstep. Yes, that's me." What's going on?" Keanu chuckled gently. "Your son Mason and I met the other day. He told me about how hard you work and how much you mean to him. I just wanted to stop by and make sure your Christmas is as special as you are." Mason appeared at Anna's side, his eyes wide with excitement. "Mom! It's him. The guy I told you about." Anna put a hand over her mouth, her emotions threatening to overwhelm her. "Mr. Reeves, I don't know what to say." Keanu stepped inside at her invitation, setting the bouquet and gift on the table. "You don't have to say anything," he said, his tone warm and reassuring. "You've raised an amazing kid. That says plenty. A gift from the heart." As they sat down in the cozy living room, Keanu listened attentively as Anna and Mason talked about their lives. Anna spoke hesitantly at first, but Keanu's genuine interest and lack of pretense soon put her at ease. She shared stories of Mason's boundless curiosity and her own dreams of going back to school to become a nurse, a goal she had given up on long ago when life became too demanding. When it was time for gifts, Mason couldn't contain himself any longer. He dashed to his room, returning with the silver-wrapped box. He handed it to Anna with an excited grin. "This is for you, Mom," he said. Anna's hands trembled as she unwrapped the paper. When she opened the box and saw the delicate star bracelet inside, her breath caught in her throat. Tears welled up in her eyes as she looked at her son. "Oh, Mason," she whispered. "It's beautiful. How did you?" Mason glanced at Keanu, who gave him an encouraging nod. "I had a little help," Mason admitted. "But I saved up most of it myself." Anna hugged Mason tightly, her tears spilling onto his shoulder. "You didn't have to do this," she said. "You're the best gift I could ever have." Keanu watched the exchange with a soft smile, his heart warmed by their bond. When Anna finally looked at him, she found herself laughing through her tears. "And you," she said, shaking her head. "You've already done more than enough." Keanu gestured to the wrapped box he had brought. "Well, I have one more thing for you. A new beginning." Anna unwrapped the box slowly, revealing a sleek laptop and an envelope tucked inside. She opened the envelope to find an application for a nursing program at a nearby college, complete with a note from Keanu offering to cover her tuition and related expenses. "I overheard Mason saying you wanted to go back to school," Keanu said. "You deserve a chance to follow your dreams, and I'm happy to help make that happen." Anna's hand flew to her mouth, her emotions threatening to overwhelm her again. I don't even know how to thank you." Keanu leaned forward, his expression kind but serious. "You don't have to thank me. Just promise me you'll believe in yourself as much as Mason believes in you. That's all I ask." Anna nodded, her voice trembling as she said, "I promise." For the rest of the evening, the small family and their unexpected guest shared stories and laughter. Keanu even helped Mason build a gingerbread house, proving he was just as good at wielding frosting as he was at performing stunts in his movies. When it was time for Keanu to leave, he knelt down to Mason's level and ruffled his hair. "Take good care of your mom," he said. "She's one of the good ones." Mason nodded earnestly. "I will." The ripple effect. As Keanu walked back into the snowy night, Anna and Mason stood in the doorway, watching him until he disappeared from view. The warmth he had brought into their home lingered long after he left, a reminder that kindness has the power to transform lives. But this was only the beginning. The scholarship application marked the start of a new chapter for Anna and Mason, one that would lead to opportunities they had only dreamed of before. The days that followed Keanu Reeves' unexpected visit were a whirlwind for Anna and Mason. The scholarship application he had provided was already partially filled out, leaving Anna to complete only a few details. Though nervous, she submitted the application, daring to hope for the first time in years. In the weeks leading up to her decision, Anna made small, quiet changes. She began to research nursing programs and took every spare moment to prepare herself for the challenge ahead. Mason, meanwhile, couldn't stop talking about Keanu's visit, recounting the story to his friends and teachers at school. A life-changing letter. On a chilly February morning, Anna was heading home after an exhausting night shift when she saw a letter sticking out of her mailbox. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Inside was an acceptance letter to the nursing program, along with confirmation that Keanu's donation had covered her tuition in full. Mason found her sitting at the kitchen table, the letter clutched in her hands and tears streaming down her cheeks. "We did it," Anna whispered, her voice breaking. "I'm going back to school." Mason wrapped his arms around her in a tight hug. "I knew you could do it, Mom." For the first time in years, Anna felt a lightness in her chest. This wasn't just about her, it was about showing Mason that no matter how hard life got, dreams were worth chasing. A surprising visit. A few weeks later, as Anna prepared for her first day of classes, another surprise arrived. Mason came rushing into the kitchen, shouting, "Mom! Look who's here!" Standing in their doorway, holding a small gift bag, was Keanu Reeves. Anna gasped, immediately setting down the pile of notebooks she was organizing. "Mr. Reeves! What are you doing here?" Keanu grinned, stepping inside. "It's Keanu, remember? And I wanted to check in on how things were going. Mason's been sending me updates through a mutual friend." Mason grinned sheepishly from behind Keanu, holding up a small notebook filled with letters he'd written about their progress. Keanu handed Anna the gift bag. Inside was a beautiful pen engraved with her name and the phrase, "The future is yours." "I thought you might need this for school," Keanu said. "It's a small token, but I hope it inspires you to keep pushing forward." Anna blinked back tears. "You've already done so much for us. I don't even know how to thank you." Keanu shook his head, his expression earnest. "You're already thanking me by doing the work. I'm just giving you the nudge. The rest is all you." The ripple effect. As Anna dove into her studies, the changes in their lives began to multiply. Her determination to succeed was mirrored in Mason, who worked harder at school than ever before. The bond between them grew even stronger as they supported each other through long nights of homework and study sessions. Word of Keanu's kindness also began to spread. The story of his intervention, how he helped a struggling family find hope, was picked up by local news outlets and eventually went viral. People from all over sent messages of encouragement to Anna, offering resources, advice, and even small donations to help her on her journey. Keanu, for his part, stayed quietly in the background, insisting that the attention remain on Anna and Mason. "This isn't about me," he told a reporter who had tracked him down. "It's about what happens when people believe in each other." The full circle. 2 years later, Anna stood on a brightly lit stage, wearing a white nursing cap and holding her diploma. Mason cheered from the front row, his face beaming with pride. The small ceremony was intimate, but for Anna, it felt like the culmination of a lifetime of dreams. After the ceremony, Anna found Keanu waiting for her outside. He clapped as she approached, a proud smile on his face. "I told you you could do it," he said warmly. Anna hugged him tightly. "You gave me the chance, Keanu. You believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself." "It was all you," he replied. "I just showed up at the right time." The next generation. With her new job at a local hospital, Anna finally had the stability she had long dreamed of. She and Mason moved into a small house with enough room for Mason to finally have his own bedroom. But even with her success, Anna never forgot where she came from, or the man who helped her get there. Every Christmas, she and Mason set aside a portion of their time and resources to help another family in need. Whether it was paying for someone's groceries or helping a child buy a gift for their parent, they ensured that Keanu's lesson, of paying it forward, was never forgotten. As for Keanu, he remained a quiet supporter in the background, occasionally sending Mason a handwritten note or checking in with Anna to see how she was doing. For him, knowing that he had helped plant the seeds of hope was enough. Epilogue, a star to guide them. Years later, as Mason prepared for college, he found the silver bracelet still sitting on his mother's dresser. The tiny star charms gleamed under the light, a reminder of how far they had come. One evening, as they decorated their Christmas tree, Anna placed the bracelet on a branch near the top, letting it catch the glow of the twinkling lights. "It's a symbol," she said, smiling at Mason. "Of kindness, hope, and the power of believing in each other." And so, every year, the bracelet found its place on their tree, a beacon of the extraordinary power of a simple act of kindness.